In 1881, Otto von Bismarck made a decision that changed the way the entire world works. In order to solve unemployment among young people, he decided to pay old people to just stop working to make room for the next generation. This is how the concept of retirement was born, and every government in the world followed suit.
Young people have come to wonder what would be their lot when they came to old age.
The thing is, back then, people used to live until about 60 years old, and this retirement plan kicked in after someone reached 70. There was a pretty high chance you would work until you die anyways. Today, people live well into their 80s, yet we still use this same outdated retirement system. For most, having a career means chasing money to have enough for retirement, and the big dream is to have billions of dollars, right? But you see, most billionaires today would gladly trade places with another type of billionaire, a more common one. A time billionaire. Welcome to ALUX. Let's talk numbers. People don't really understand how much a billion actually is. A million seconds means around 12 days. A billion seconds is more like 32 years. Now, would you like to have $100 billion? Of course you would. But would you also like that money if it means you're now 91 years old? Because that's how much Warren Buffett is worth, and that's how old he is right now. And he would gladly trade places with you.
Money has no utility to me. Time has utility to me.
Being a time billionaire means having more than 32 years left to live, or over 1 billion seconds. It's the scarcest resource. Everyone gets started with some, and everyone ends up with 0 in the end. And the more time you're alive, the more expensive time gets. If you're 20, you would probably trade 5 years of your life for $1 million. But what would you trade 5 years for if you only have 5 years left to live?
One has financial resources and the other has life resources. Our society overvalues the former, but undervalues the latter.
This concept is fascinating because everywhere you look, a paper billionaire will always want to trade places with a time billionaire. So what would your life look like if you'd see yourself as a time billionaire?
The biggest thing that kids struggle with, contextualizing time.
Imagine you look at your seconds the same way you look at dollars in the bank account. But every time the clock ticks, a -1 appears. Young people disregard time because they have so much of it. A day gone doesn't mean anything when you're 22. But what if you would look at your time the same way an investor looks at their money? Think about it like this. Every great investor uses their greatest asset for future gains. That asset can be money, experience, connections, and so on. For a young person, that greatest asset is time. A time billionaire can make an investment that's impossible to make even for Warren Buffett. Time billionaires can make a long-term investment, one that pays off in 10 to 20 years. They can afford to be patient. When you expand your time horizon across decades, even the smallest investment right now can mean a whole lot down the road because your road is really long. You can also recover from any setbacks. You can screw up big time early on and still have enough time to recover. There's no point of critical failure. Nothing is big enough to completely ruin you. You can put a lot of wheels into motion and free up time for yourself. You can take care of the future and the present. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is how much time you have to do the things you actually want to do. For some, the things they want is spending time on yachts. For others, it's spending time with friends, and for a few, it's spending time with friends on a yacht. But they all require you to be time wealthy. Time wealth is the new measurement of success. Now, here are some things to make the most of your time. Consistency over everything. No matter what you do, if you do it consistently enough for a long period of time, incredible things will happen. Imagine you take a short 20-minute run every day for the next 5 years. What would that do for your health? Imagine you read a page every day for the next 5 years. How educated would you become? When you have 30+ years in front of you, doing something consistent can change your life. You can completely reinvent yourself like 5 times. You can be an artist at 20, a programmer at 25, a designer at 30, a ball juggler at 35, who knows? Consistency creates great change over time. Do one small thing that pushes the wheel forward every day consistently and let time work for you. Outputs over inputs. If you want to do only the things you love to do, you need to disconnect your outputs over inputs. What does that mean? If you trade time for money, your inputs match your outputs. The only way to make more money is to spend more time. And that's a lose-lose situation because in this scenario, both your time and money is capped. You can only work a set amount of hours each day, and you can only earn what you spend time earning. There's no free time, just time you're not making money. In order to change this dynamic, you need to find ways to do great work that scales in value. In other words, you need to make something that's used by a lot of people. You don't get paid for the hours you put in, but for the value you created. That's why you shouldn't look to be paid by the hour. Your goal is to be paid for what value you're creating. That frees up time to do other stuff while also maximizing your output. In the end, time billionaires are those who understand how valuable their asset is, how much wealth they can generate with it, and how they can make the most of it every day. Now, Aluxers, are you time billionaires? We hope you found some value in this video, and for the true Aluxers that watched until the end, we have a bonus. This is something we learned from Naval Ravikant, and we find it fascinating. Set an inspirational hourly rate for yourself. Imagine your time is worth, let's say, $1,000 an hour. And every time you do something that takes time, think to yourself, is this worth $1,000 an hour? Should I keep doing this or switch to something more valuable? Of course, this is a bit of a drastic approach to really squeeze every ounce of value from your time, but it's an interesting thing to keep in mind every now and then.